What a week.
What a week.
Well, let's just dive right in there. I mean, The biggest news is that the state's going to try to play under several scenarios, also trying to play on time, depending on what the governor's office does. Your initial reaction to it was?
Yeah, I mean, a lot going on during a dead period where we're supposed to be relaxing and kind of getting away from things. But Governor Lee made that announcement, so that kind of put everybody into a frenzy. I believe the TSSAA and Bernard Childress are doing a great job, at short notice, and they're working hard, and can't blame them here. And they're giving coaches, they're giving people different scenarios now. I think they voted on that. And while they're also trying to reclassify for the next 2 years, that was what the original meeting was about. And I think that's the back burner right now. It's on the back burner right now. But we could talk about the different scenarios that I've seen that they gave the coaches that we voted on. If the governor's office still holds it, we cannot do anything until August 29th, which I think that may be a Saturday or some funky day of the week. So I think we would start August 31st is the start date. Now that's 2 games into the season with no padded practice. So what they're going to do, I think they'll give us a couple weeks, and I don't think scrimmages or anything like that. I think a couple weeks of practice and pads and then go into the season. One of the scenarios that came up was a 8-game season and a 4-week playoff scenario, which only region champ and runner-up would go to the playoffs then under that scenario, which is different because usually 4 teams go to the playoffs. But like we said, before going into that, knowing that you got to be 1 or 2 seed, a little bit of pressure, but at least we were a 3 seed last year and made the state championship, but that's a unique situation, and going in, we just got to know we got to be 1 or 2.
You run into that. You said I think there really are 4 formats that they threw out there, but it sounds to me like the first one, the 8-game, is what would be something you would prefer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of support from what I understand, what I've seen social media wise, that would be a preferred format. I think.
Yeah, because it's kind of it's kind of the normal way. You know what I mean? I mean, they can get probably crazy and do some crazy things, but that's kind of normal. I mean, just losing 1 round in an 8-game season. Now I don't know how they're going to start that. I'm hearing conflicting things about how they're going to start or do that 8-game season. At the beginning, I thought we'd just start on week 3 and go through it, but I'm not sure that's going to go like that. I think they're going to re-region or reschedule the region games and so on, which is tough because different regions have their different sizes. The Williams County region, they may have 6 or 7 teams, and our region is smaller, so some teams only have 5 in the region, so that's hard to fix. You can't have a cookie cutter. We're going to do 8 region games, blah blah blah, because different people have different size regions.
But I think we're still allowed non-region games, which you all would still schedule. So
yes, we'd have to. That'd be great. That's going to be tough on coaches to schedule non-region games in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Right, and make sure that they line up with other teams' weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun because it's tough enough getting a schedule when you have a couple months to do it in.
Right.
Well, we're recording this a couple days before you guys get back from dead period. You're back to at least some sort of practice on Monday. What's it been like with the coronavirus, even in the spring, not having practice,
I think in June when we did, we did what we could. You had your mask on. You were in groups of 10 with a coach. Mask when you were 6 feet apart. So on. I think what we're missing. And I know what we're missing as a team is the fine tuning of the guys, of a back pedal when you're a defensive back, of the step if you're offensive lineman, because different coaches, and we try to do the best we can, but different coaches were grouped with different groups and they can't intermingle with groups. So an offensive line coach may not have all his offensive linemen and so on. And then, I don't know, and you're trying to get in shape. It's tough. And I just think the fine tuning of these guys is what we're missing out on.
How do you handle special teams in a situation like that?
You don't yet.
You can't
yet. No, we didn't. I mean, we concentrated on getting some guys in the weight room 2 days a week. We only had 2 groups in the weight room, which was 20 kids at a time. I mean, it's just trying to get in shape was our main focus right then, and do some going over skeleton offense, skeleton defense, just very broad on everything.
And you guys aren't even going to have 7-on-7. So
no 7-on-7s now either.
Out.
Yeah, that's out. So
now they're talking about going to the governor and getting him to put high school football in with college and pro, where you can. So hopefully, that might
that might get us before August 29th. If the state colleges start before we do, or before August 29th, I think the TSSAA is asking the governor's people if we can start when they start. Which I mean, I don't know. We'll be fine. It would be great. That would be great.
Yeah. Okay, so you've explained that under the current restrictions, you've had difficulty, with the practice element. How did you communicate with the kids before the school was out? Go back to when that happened. You were trying to, get your kids together there.
It just seems like so long ago. I mean, it was just hasty that we wouldn't get the kids back. You know what I mean? And clean out your stuff, clean out the locker room because they're going to fog the locker room. That was our first, get all the cloth out. We need to wash everything up. And I mean, it just escalated so fast. So, and some of the kids left their stuff in the locker room, and then we try to communicate with them via Zoom a little bit. We Google Classroom type stuff to get workouts to them that they can do without weights. Coach Melton's our strength coach and defense coordinator. He did a great job, trying to plan workouts for these kids to do with zero weight or with nothing. I mean, you're squatting on air, you get out and run, do these things. And I feel confident that our guys did because they came in June. They were all right. They were in pretty good shape. Now, there were a handful of kids that you could tell they didn't do anything, and and everybody knew it, and they knew it, and they felt bad about it. But that's but a lot of the kids worked. Some kids had some weight rooms made in their garage, which was fine. I know a few of the offensive linemen kind of got together and worked out together some. So I think they did a great job. It felt like they came in June when we started meeting back, in pretty good shape.
Have any of the parents or the kids reached out to you for reassurances or anything with the situation that you're under?
Yeah, and we talk about it to the kids when we got back. We're checking temperatures, and the parents were originally worried about the masks and conditioning. And I had to reassure them, we're not going to go out and run 100-yard sprints and the kids got a mask on. We're not going to suffocate them. The mask will be down. We're going to spread out. The only thing that really was an was in the weight room when I'm bench pressing and spotting. We felt like both of them had to have a mask on because I'm kind of over the top of them. Right. But other than that, if I'm back squatting or something like that, we're facing different directions. So really bench pressing was the only thing, and we lowered the weight on stuff that they had to do there. So that was the only really strenuous activity they had to do with a mask on. Everything else was outside, so they could pull their mask down unless we got into a tighter group, and they were all. I'd never thought in a million years I'd have to tell a kid 1,000,000 times a day, put your mask on, get your mask on. You know what I mean? Hey, would you ever thought about that? Jeez.
Oh, wow.
But, it's different. It's just different, but we were glad that we had the kids. And I think the kids were glad to be together.
Yeah. Well, how are they handling the uncertainty, especially the seniors?
Yeah. Well, see, we haven't got a hold of them yet. I won't see them until Monday. And, that's got to be tough. We just got to, I feel so sorry for baseball, softball, and that, how that turned out. It's awful. And I just, I guess my message and our message to the guys is just going to, we can't control it. Let's not worry about that. Let's get going as if we were ready to go on August 29th. Let's prepare as if right now. I mean, so that's all we can control. So don't try to control the uncontrollables, I guess you could say.
You graduated Forest High School?
Graduated Forest High School in Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill, so yes. Not too far away.
Not too far away, 20 minutes away. Still live there.
And you walked on your defense.
Walked on to the defensive end at Bethel College. Yeah. Small little Bethel University now. I think it is. They moved up a little bit, but just a small school. Yes, sir. Yeah.
You come out of there. You land Marshall County.
Marshall County High School.
And
for a few years with Mac McCurry. One of the guys that I coached there was Dont'a Hightower. A really pretty good middle linebacker for the Patriots right now.
Bad.
He's
not bad at all.
Plug with coaching him. Was there for a few years. Then went to Forest as a defense coordinator for a few years. Then went to Riverdale under Coach Ron Adelot. And I was just a defensive back coach there, but I just thought the experience in that 6A, or back then it was 5A, but that highest level in that Rutherford County, I just felt like I needed that experience, and it was great. Bobby Wells was a defense coordinator. I worked with Will Kreisky. Will Kreisky now is the head coach at Riverdale, and Coach Adelot was awesome. So Coach Dobbs, Jason Dobbs was the head coach at Moore County. Now he's at Oakland. So it was one heck of a staff, and I learned a lot from those guys. And then there for a couple of years, we were a 13-1 team one year at Riverdale. We got beat by Maryville the semifinal. So
Wow.
It was fun to coach. And then went to Forest back home for a year as head coach, and then to Summit after that. And it was tough leaving my hometown. You know, after 1 year being the head coach, a few people were pretty upset about that. But you know,
understandable.
Summit looked appealing. It was Chad Kerr was the athletic director, and I've known him forever when we played Little League baseball together in high school. So just an appealing job. Started Coach Keister was the head coach there then. He did an excellent job. They just played some JV ball and stuff like that, and got thrown into the mix pretty fast. So when we took over the program, first year we went 0-10. Just culture change. We had to change so many things, and I think one of the biggest things that we did was just was the weight room. The intensity in the weight room and the intensity these kids weren't used to. We had to get them in shape because they were kind of out of shape. The necks were a little skinny, and we were worried about concussions and things like that. So we had to get them bigger. And then I think we did it right as building like a program, because after that, I think we went 4-6. Then we went 7-3. You know, then we climbed. I think we went 10-3 the next year or something like that. So it's been a steady climb. I think we've done it correctly. I feel like we have done it correctly.
You went through your coaching tree there, and you coached very, very successful programs. Aside from the weight rooms, what about those programs makes them successful? And what did you bring?
I think the weight room and I always use the word program. This is a program. This is not about one class. This is not about one kid. This is a football program. Heck, when we went to the state championship game, I was texting guys that were the 0-10 team. The second year, I mean, I was like, you know, thank you for what you've done. This is reaping our rewards of what y'all did. So I carried that, you know, and I learned a lot from head coaches, what to do, what to not to do. I learned a lot from Coach Mac McCurry. I learned a lot from Coach Ron Adelot. Kyle Stacy was at Forest. So I've coached under a lot of great guys.
Now, you're surrounded by a number of big programs in this area.
Yes.
And so coming in, you had to know that you were going to be faced with some tough games ahead. What did you feel? What was it that made you feel coming in you could be a success in this area?
I just like the school. I like the kids. It's a great mix of kids, and these kids, man, they're hungry. They work hard, and they've been around this area since Pee Wee. You have a few move-ins, but these kids have played together, you know, since the Coyotes, I think they were called. So they're a great group of kids, and I saw that early, and they worked their tails off.
Outstanding. Well, what kind of if you were to describe the culture that you bring to Summit, what would you describe that? What are you establishing there?
Hard nose, and I think that shows of our offense and our defense. I mean, just hard nosed. Everybody the football, just playing hard and under adversity, not freaking out or worrying about you getting down or something like that. And that was a testament to the Shelbyville game last year in the semifinals, I think it was, or the quarters, that we were down a couple touchdowns first quarter, and kids didn't panic. We just played hard and chopped away at it, and then finally got the lead and got the win. So, we coach them hard, but we love them. That's for sure.
I want to talk about that first playoff game, going to Gallatin.
Oh, boy.
What a night that was when you guys were stuck on Highway 109 for a couple hours.
Yeah. So we left Summit, plenty of time, probably 2:30-ish, stopped in Murfreesboro at a hotel conference room to eat and get a small walkthrough. I think before 4 o'clock we left, and my phone said 50-minute drive or at the beginning. So we left and went 109, just safe, we thought. We're on charter buses, and I'll explain that. It was a good call later. And got on 109 and got stuck. I mean, there was nowhere we could go. We could not back up, go opposite, go. I had one principal going left, or we'll call it west, and one athlete, Chad Kirby, was going right, trying to get around, around the lake. There was nowhere to go. What they had done, they had blown up the road. They had mistakenly blown up the road, and we're stuck. Yeah. We were stuck. Like I said, thank goodness we were on charter buses, because these young men had to use the bathroom, and you know what I mean? So that was a blessing in disguise, and these guys run into the woods or something off a school bus. But sat there forever, and you keep looking at your phone, like the mapping it, and it says an hour away. It says 50 minutes away, and then it's an hour and a half away. Then it's 2 hours away, and we're pushing 6 o'clock. So we're calling, and I mean, there was nothing we could do. We couldn't turn around. We couldn't get out of there. So finally, they sent us a police escort, and we'd have been, I think that was about 7 o'clock, maybe 7:15, 7:30 before that police escort even got to us. Principal and AD finally made it there, and they were calling TSSAA about how long we could actually get to warm up legally, or whatever. And I think they gave us 35 minutes maybe to warm up. I just told the kids, look, I don't know what to say to you. We've never done this before. We're gonna get off this bus and we're gonna play football. And and we played football, and our guys were ready. I don't know what the deal was. I guess it's just so different. We warmed up. We didn't even go back to the locker room. We just stayed out there. It was kind of cold, very cold actually. But man, we played great. It was a fun, weird but fun night. And topping on the cake, it was on TV, so they had to show Andy Griffith or something for an hour. You know what I'm saying? That's what it would have been all right if we just showed and played the game, but you had a lot of people waiting to watch this game, and a TV station want to know what's going on.
But yeah, you mentioned your kids got off the bus and they played extremely well and then knocked off a talented Gallatin team.
Very talented with a great running back. Big guys, big up front. Our defense played lights out.
So you guys made some offensive changes last year.
We did.
Personnel wise, you went from the wing tee to the spread, really to kind of give your kids the best chance. Didn't you?
Our quarterback Destin Wade is a unique kid, a great athlete, and it would be a disservice to him to keep it straight up wing tee, which wing tee is fine. So all we did was we just kind of threw that word in there, gave some different formations, spread it out some, but I tell you what, when it came down to it in the playoffs in that second, third round, it was nasty weather. It was a lot of wing tee principles, and it was Destin and Keaton Wade running the football, and Ja'Kalen Cotton with a little mix-up. He was a little bit of lightning in there. But when you get in those playoffs and it's cold and muddy, you're going to have to run the football. So I think that's what really ultimately helped us through that. But we needed to spread the ball out some. Well, we need to loosen the defense up so they get so many people out of the box and use the skills that Destin has. And we had a bunch of wide receivers. George Odemegu, we moved him, who was our leading rusher 2 years in a row, moved him to slot receiver. And he did great out there. And it helped him defensively, too. He didn't take the beating at running back as he did, and then he could go play safety for us on defense, and I think that helped our defense out tremendously.
You guys had such a great run to get to the championship game, and then Knoxville Central comes around and ends that run.
They were good. They were good, and just you really don't know how good. You can have all the film in the world, you get in that game, and they were really good. We got behind a little bit, and I think that's where we need to get, as a coaching staff and as players, we need to get better. Coming from behind, being able to spread the football out and throwing it when they know you're fixing to throw it. So that's something we're going to work on in the offseason, in the spring. So that's something we're going to have to work on real quick here in the month of July and August.
Assuming everything goes as planned, what's it going to take to get back there?
Oh, boy. Well, got a big target on our back right now. So that's something these kids have never experienced. We've always been the underdog. We've always been, it's just Summit. Now, different. You're going to get everybody's best game every single week. They want to knock you off. So our kids are not going to be used to that yet, but they have heard it from the coaching staff already a whole month of June. Guys, you're the runner-up last year. A lot of people expect a lot of things out of you this year. So that ain't going to win you a game. Expecting to win ain't going to win you a game. You got to understand that. So you got a big target on you.
You've talked about Destin and Keaton Wade. Who else can we expect to really kind of ascend into big roles?
Brady Pierce he's going to be a junior also. He played safety last year. We're going to expect a lot out of him. He's turning a lot of heads in the off-season workouts and stuff like that. Started at safety for us last year, and probably the second leading tackler behind Jalen Harrod, who we lost to graduation. He went to Eastern Kentucky. But Matthew Mullins is a returning offensive lineman. Ty Garber's a returning offensive lineman. So we need to find a few offensive linemen that need to step up and play. Mason Richardson got some valuable time in the state championship game because Matthew Mullins went down with a little injury. So we've got some guys with some experience, and I feel like we've got a lot of skill guys coming back too. Caleb Jolly did not play any offense last year. He was our starting outside linebacker. He's going to play some offense at wide receiver. Zach Switzer's done a great job in the offseason getting his body ready, getting his mindset ready to play some slot receiver also. And then you still have Destin and Keaton. Gavin Wells, starting middle linebacker, coming back. Kaneda Wirtz, starting corner, coming back. So we've got a good core of guys, but some guys are also going to step in, just like every year.
Well, everybody was really excited as you made your run towards the end of that at last season.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the community and their support of your program.
One of the funnest things ever was leaving to get onto the bus. The school gave us a big going-away send-off, a big tunnel of the whole student body, band playing right in front of us. It was really special, and we feel they packed the stands every week. These guys really felt loved, I think.
Oh, good deal. Well, given all your success that you've had, what makes you most proud?
Games like Gallatin, games like Shelbyville, where these guys just didn't give up. It's just persevere. They had a lot of heart, and that's a football. We're going to have a lot of heart as a football team, I think.
That's a life lesson that I think a lot of people that don't understand high school sports don't understand, is that it does teach you lessons of perseverance,
absolutely,
of not quitting,
absolutely,
of what you get out what you put in.
And I've read on Twitter this past week, a lot of people are saying, why is so many people worried about high school football? It's just high school football. Why are they so worried about them having a season? Man, it's community. It's school. That's the school's first. Here's a neat thing also on Twitter. Miss Lamb did a segment on each kid, like likes, dislikes, just trying to show the seniors some love that didn't get a graduation and stuff like that. I bet 90% of them said favorite memory was football playoffs, football games. So it means a lot to a lot of people. They're having fun. And it gives you a sense of normalcy. To go to a Friday night football game, I think people want to feel normal again. So for the people that are saying that it's just high school football, that's, it's just not those 80 guys that we have. It's a community, it's parents. It's a school. So that's tough to say.
Band. Cheerleaders,
yes, cheerleaders.
So much is tied up in that. It really is community and part of the high school experience.
I agree, and those 80 guys, however many guys we have, are dying to play football. But like you said, it teaches them so many life lessons.
Coach, we've been through a lot. We're going to lighten the mood a little bit in this segment. Scott, you've got some questions that you want to fire off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was lost in the barbecue.
His head turned. He didn't hear you, I don't think.
He's already smelling it. I can tell.
Probably a mistake to put me this close to the kitchen.
Well, maybe.
There's no doubt. Okay. As the plates come by, I'm just like...
He's lost all concentration.
Yeah,
he don't even know what you asked him.
See, the food's already gotten his head. It got to mine in the second segment, so I can't say much, but this is where we are.
Yeah, all this hard work, dude.
I know, for sure.
Okay, Coach. Well,
we're really back in.
Yeah. Cuttlefish away. Just look at some issues besides the big issues that we had, which is the biggest issue, COVID. We wanted to look at a couple of the bigger issues that are facing high school football overall, not just in Tennessee, but maybe overall. Mm-hmm. One of them is safety. Do you see the emphasis on safety? Is the sport safer now than it was when you were a player?
Oh, I guarantee you, yes, because the amount of hitting is not the same in practice. We're limited on how much hitting we do in practice. I think the incorporation of the weight room is a whole lot more important now than it used to be. When I was in high school, we kind of lifted. There wasn't even coaches in there. They said go in there and do something. So the importance of the weight room now, these kids are getting bigger, faster, and stronger than when we played, I think. So that's very important for them. And teaching, tackling, just teaching it from the bare bones, and blocking just with your head up. So, we spent a lot of time on those first few weeks of doing things correctly with your head up. So I think safety, yes, is definitely, because, a lot of people want to say it's an unsafe sport, and they're worried about the C word, the concussions. But, you strengthen that neck, you teach them how to block and tackle correctly, and I think you're all right.
Yeah, and you mentioned something earlier about monitoring monitoring their fluid intake, making sure that that they're not getting overheated,
weighing them, ice bathing. I mean, us in Williams County, we're fortunate enough to have a lot. I think a lot of people do now as a trainer, to our team, and he's there every day, and he's monitoring them. And you got the heat index rule. So I mean, there's so many rules nowadays, but I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to prepare these guys to play on Friday night, so we've got to push them a little bit. But at the same rate, we are watching and monitoring their bodies and stuff like that.
And making sure that they're fit is actually going to prevent injuries further into the season. Oh,
yeah. I mean, making sure your shoulders are right, and they're taking a lot of pounding, and they've got to be fit. They've got to be in shape. And things have changed a lot now. We went to this year, Coach Melton did a lot of research with Coach Crawford at Brentwood, and when we're running now, we're running for a purpose. We are running 40s, but it ain't to kill these guys. We're running a 40, and they're giving everything they've got. Then they've got a 2-minute rest before they run another one, and we're only running like 5. What we're looking for is just really that emphasis. When you're running that 40 in that time, you're really pushing your body, and we're not running 36 of them to try to kill them. And when we're in bleachers, we're only doing like 4. We're running heels. We're only doing like 2. So it's not the volume. It's just the do it right when you're doing it. It's not run 36 of them. We're trying to kill you anymore.
Because those things can kind of be situational too. I mean, if you run like 5 sprints, it's like 5 defensive plays.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, and we'll do hollow sprints where you're sprinting and then you're kind of jogging, and then you exert again for the last 20 yards. And you get we get rest in between plays, so they can breathe. It's not 2 minutes, but it's walking back to the huddle and standing there. So trying to make as much game like as we can.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so let's look at officials. There's another area that there are some questions. There's talk of an official shortage.
There's an official shortage every year. Well, the past 2 years, I think I've gotten a letter to say, if you can play on a Thursday night, please play on a Thursday night because of the shortage of officials. I mean, they get a lot of flack. I mean, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to be an official because they get yelled at a lot. But I mean, if you like high school athletics, there's a lot of guys that I know do football and basketball. If they love high school athletics, they love doing it, every week. And then you're also looking for officials on Monday nights because we've got JV and freshman games. So, it's not a lot of people want to do it. It's pretty tough.
Do you find that that's probably the reason is that the criticism, yes, for lack of a better word, from the stand, from all those coaches in the stands?
Yes. Oh, there's a lot of them in the stands. There are a lot of them. They know how to official and coach and everything else, don't they?
Throw the ball, coach.
Exactly. Yeah. You've been in our stands before.
It's amazing how it seems like there's no team in Middle Tennessee that I've been to that throws the ball enough.
Yeah. No, not for you. What are you running up the middle for, Coach? Well, it's not really up the middle. It's a different play.
You can throw it 48 times. It ain't enough.
It's not enough.
Not enough.
Yep. Exactly right.
Well, it's good to know that it's not just in 1 or 2 locations,
right,
I guess. Player shortages is another issue. I don't know if that you see it here.
We saw it when we first started. When we first started, our motto for the first 2 years was one bus. We were a 5A football team, and we were on one bus. So you're talking under 55 kids. You get coaches and managers on there. We're talking 45 kids. And we that was our motto. We grasped it, and we played with it, and a lot of guys played both ways. Now, with the success we had last year, we've got a lot of kids out, which is great. I mean, that's fine. We had 2 or 3 guys last year to come out that were just coming out their senior year. And, I mean, Andrew Pierce, he's one of our leading receivers. We thank goodness that he came out and got a scholarship to Mount St. Joseph in Cincinnati, Ohio. So bring them on, play football. I mean, it's a fun experience. And I guess they were just scared before because we were 0-10. We were 4-6 and getting hit pretty hard. Now we're the hitters instead of the hittees. So, I mean, and it's a lot of fun. So hopefully we're trying to make it more fun so more kids will come out. But a lot of other teams are struggling, I think, with the numbers. And a lot of people don't want to get up at 6:30 in the morning on all summer long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do stuff like that.
Do you kind of find that it's just the success that really starts bringing them out in droves, or are there other ways that you can get kids to come out?
You try. I mean, what I've always – if I have to beg a kid to come out to play football, they might not want to get up at 6:30. They might not want to do good in the fourth quarter when it gets cutting time. You know what I mean? So if I have to beg them, sometimes it works out. But my experience of 20 years, it ain't really worked out a lot. Does that make sense?
So
we got one more segment we're going to do, the lightning round.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think you've seen these questions yet. So.
Okay.
No.
I'm not too a quick thinker now.
Now the good thing is that these are all safe questions.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All
So
right.
other than football, what sport would you most like to coach?
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yes, definitely. I loved playing baseball in high school. Was pretty good at it. Just chose to play football.
Well, very good. Okay. In the spirit of sheltering in place and what we've seen, what show would you recommend binge watching?
Friends.
Really? Wow. That's a throwback.
Can I say that?
I'm
Can I
surprised.
say that as a football coach that I don't watch Friends?
I'm
I'm not a Game of Thrones guy. I forbid it in the coach's office because these guys, they would come in and they would talk about it for 30 minutes. Guys, let's talk about offense, defense. Let's talk about something else. They want to talk about Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones was forbidden in our coach's office.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's great. No,
I love it.
That is great. That is excellent. Okay. Well, talking about films, do you have a favorite football film or book or anything like that?
Man, I've read a lot of Lou Holtz stuff. I've read a lot of Nick Saban stuff. But Lou Holtz and some Zig Ziglar, some character. Yeah.
Yep.
I've read a lot of that stuff, but Lou Holtz is definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite.
Looking at football movies, is there something that Hollywood or people in general get wrong about high school coaches or high school coaching?
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun to watch. I mean, we're all not like that. I'm kind of thinking Friday Night Lights or things like that, but it's not as a harsh. I don't know. Well, it could. Sometimes I would say it's not as harsh of a business as Friday Night Lights was, because I can remember him going to the grocery store with his family or Walmart with his family, and old boy pulls up in a Corvette and says, "Coach, we need to win Friday night." And he's like, "Yeah, we're going to try real hard." He said, "No, you need to win Friday night." So I don't know if it's that cutthroat, but sometimes it is.
And maybe
there.
The games are not all decided on the last play of the game.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah. I don't think that movie is like the book.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing anybody's going to roll up in their car and intimidate him.
Better win.
Doubt it.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
Okay, this one could actually start fights.
Oh boy.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog and sandwich? No.
Okay, well then you're on Team 615 Preps.
Well, he's
right.
been on the side of everybody we've talked to about this. It's not. There's not been anybody that said it's been a sandwich yet.
Yeah.
We're waiting to meet that
I'm
first
waiting.
person.
Yeah, so I can find out
see
why.
the argument, but I never really. No.
Locker rooms have their music. What is on your playlist?
Oh man. Oh boy. I don't know. I'm not a really pump up music kind of guy. Let's go 2000 rap. 2000 rap.
Okay.
Let's go that.
All right.
That's my Pandora right now. I'm listening to in a weight room.
Okay.
So
There you go.
2000
That'll fire you up.
All right.
That'll get you going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, last question. And this one did have a fight. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
no, absolutely not.
Thank you.
No way. Heck no. Never. No.
You see where we
I'm
stand
adamant
on
about
this.
that one now.
Yeah.
See where we stand on this.
Oh man. I'm on an island so far.
Yeah, you're on Hawaii. You're going to stay there for a while, I think. So.
Well,
Oh,
Coach,
man.
that is all the questions I have. Chris?
That's all I've got too, man. It's been great
I
having you
appreciate
here.
it, guys.
It
It's
has been fun.
Like y'all said on the break, it's been fun to talk high school football. You know what I mean? To get back to talking about it, hopefully everything it works out for the best.
Boy, this is 4th of July weekend, but we can't wait for it. We're ready.
No.
I think everybody is, to get back to normal.
Yeah, I know they say baseball's the American pastime, but no, I think it's football, and I think we need it soon.
Yeah, I think it'll be tough if it doesn't happen.
Yep.
I want to thank Summit head coach Brian Coleman for joining us. I want to thank Jack of Hearts Barbecue at 5343 Main Street in Spring Hill for hosting us. That's all the time we've got. Thank you for listening to us. This is the 615 Preps Podcast, and we'll talk to you soon.